Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Suresh Kumar Turka from Government College Bheria Pihova Kurukshetra. Today we are going to discuss on the topic leadership across nations, and this topic is related to the paper of International Human Resource Management. The learning objectives of this topic is to explain the meaning, nature and functions of leadership, to know about the leadership theory, to understand the leadership behavior and styles, to define leadership in international context, to discuss about leadership across nations. Now, we are going to start this topic. Human factor is the most important for accomplishment of the objective of an organization. Under human factor, all the employees working in the enterprise are included. All other factors of production like capital, machinery, goods, raw material etc. are used only by the human factor. So, human resource occupies a prominent place among all the available sources in an organization. For the achievement of the established goals, it is necessary that all the employees work according to their full capacity. This is possible only when they are inspired to work with greater dedication and fuller enthusiasm. Such inspiration can be given by an executive who is not only an efficient manager, but a good leader also. A good leader exercises his influence on a group of employees in such a manner to make them work with fullest capacity and confidence for the attainment of the objectives. This quality of inspiring the employees called leadership. Then we are going to discuss the meaning of leadership. Leadership is the ability of an individual through which he guides the people and makes them capable of working willingly up to their fullest capacity. A successful leader gives the necessary encouragement to his subordinates in their work performance rather than pushing them in doing it. A good leader communicates and guides the employees with his conduct by setting examples. In simple words, leadership is the process of influencing people to direct their efforts toward the achievement of some particular goal. Now, there are some definitions of the leadership. According to George R. Terry, leadership is the ability of influencing people to strive willingly for mutual objectives. According to Kuntas and O'Donnell, leadership may be defined as the ability to exert interpersonal influence by means of communication toward the achievement of a goal. Now, we are going to discuss the nature of leadership. The first point of nature of leadership is followers. In leadership, the presence of followers is must, without which leadership cannot be thought of. There is no existence of a leader without employees or followers. Therefore, it is important that leader should have followers to work with. Second feature of the leadership is the personal ability. Leadership depends upon the personal ability of an individual. The degree of success of a manager will be in the proportion of his quality of leadership. A good leader always motivates his subordinates by setting example. Next feature of leadership is the process of influence. Leadership is the process of influencing the behavior of people. A leader must be able to influence the behavior, attitude and beliefs of his subordinates. Next feature of leadership is realization of organizational objectives. A great leader always stimulates the people to try their best willingly to attain the organizational objectives in an efficient manner within the available resources. Then next feature is ideal conduct. The conduct of a leader always must be ideal. In leadership, leaders set their examples. If a leader expects that his followers should be on time, then a leader must always be on time at his duty. Next feature is leadership is ever a new process. Business environment is always dynamic. Dynamic means here that is going to be changed from time to time. At workplace, a leader faces new problems like changing nature of job, technological changes, work aptitude, level of competition, etc. In changing environment, a leader has to follow new techniques to tackle with these problems and inspire subordinates to attain the organizational objectives. So, leadership is a ever new process. Now, we are going to discuss the functions of leadership. The first function of leadership is setting goals. A leader is expected to perform creative function of laying out goals and policies to persuade the subordinate to work with enthusiasm and confidence. Then second function is organizing. A leader helps the organizing in assigning the various roles and responsibilities to the various employees according to their abilities and interests. The proper distribution of authority and responsibilities also helps the organization in achieving its goal in a scientific manner with the view to make its various components to operate sensitively. Next function of leadership is to take initiative. A leader has to float the new ideas in the business and take decisions regarding various problems. He should not depend upon others for decision making, and his decision should reflect original thinking. A good leader is to take the initiative in all the matters related to the group. Next function is coordination. A leader has to bring together the interest of the individual members of the group with that of the organization. For the achievement of the organizational objectives, he has to ensure voluntary cooperation from each and every employee of the organization. Slide number 12. Motivation and direction. The primary function of a leader is to guide and motivate his subordinates to do their best in the achievement of desired goals. He should build up confidence and zeal in the subordinates, which results minimization of the cost and maximum utilization of the available resources. Next function, source of link. A leader works as a source of link between the management and workers by implementing the policies and programs of the management through his subordinates, and also represents the subordinates' interests before management. An effective leader acts as the true guardian of the interest of his subordinates. Now, we are going to discuss the leadership theory. Management have no importance without leadership. According to the traditional concept, leaders are born, not made, meaning thereby that leadership ability is inborn and this cannot be developed later on. But according to the modern concept, leaders are born too and also can be made. Different experts have different views regarding leadership. Some experts says that it depends on the individual qualities, while some says that leadership depends on the situation. On the other hand, according to some scholars, leadership quality depends upon the necessities of the followers. In this way, there are many theories of leadership which are discussed in the coming section. In this slide, we are going to discuss about the leadership theories. The first theory of leadership is trait theory. Then second is behavioral theory. Next one is the situation theory. Then the followers theory and path goal theory. Now, we are going to discuss all those theories in detail. First theory of leadership is trait theory. This theory is developed by Bernard. According to this theory, leadership ability in a particular person depends on his special individual qualities, and if the person having these special qualities, he will be certainly a successful leader in all the situations. This theory believes that leadership ability is inborn and cannot be achieved by making any effort. All the researchers conducted between 1930 and 1950 considered individual qualities as the best. These qualities were included physical traits like height, appearance, intelligence, ability traits, personality traits, task related traits and social traits. Nowadays, this theory has no importance and implication. Second theory of leadership is behavioral theory. This theory is related to the behavior of a leader and not with his qualities. According to this theory, the behavior of a leader should be ideal. A leader may be a decision maker, an informer, a motivator, a solution giver of the problems. He should present an ideal behavior before his followers. This theory gives the more importance to the behavior of a leader, but this fact cannot be denied that the behavior of a leader is determined by his individual qualities. Next theory is the situation theory. According to this theory, the leadership qualities in an individual is the result of the situations. This theory says that the individual must have the qualities, and having these qualities, the success of a leader depends upon the situation. It means that an individual can be a successful leader in certain situation, while the same individual may be failure in some other situation. Churchill proved a successful leader during war, but after war, when peace returned, people did not accept him as their leader. It is therefore clear that the qualities which a leader requires are determined to some extent by the necessities of the situation in which he has to work as a leader. Actually, this exhibit shows the situational leadership, and there may be 4 types of leadership, that may be sporting, delegating, coaching and directing. Next theory of the leadership is the followers theory. This theory states that the leadership ability of a person depends upon his followers, or we can say subordinates. The followers accept a particular individual as their leader due to their primary necessities. Anybody who can make a maximum contribution to the fulfillment of their needs is accepted as their leader, and the subordinates start following him. In reality, the leadership ability depends upon the fulfillment of the necessities of the followers. In order to find out the leadership ability of a person, it is important to know as to how many followers are ready to accept him as their leader. Next theory of leadership is the path goal theory. According to this theory, in order to find out the leadership ability in an individual, it has to be find out as to what amount of strength and expectancy he generates among his employees. This is based on expectancy model of motivation, and this model is based on the strength and expectancy. Strength means encouraging the all round development of the employees, and expectancy means preparing the way for the attainment of the goals. A leader tries to remove all the hurdles likely to come in the attainment of objectives with the help of training and direction. This theory stresses upon the motivation and has a point of view that motivation is the key of leadership ability. Leadership behaviors and styles. Leadership style means the consistent behavior pattern of a leader which is perceived by the people which are around him. Every leader adopts a pattern through which he handles his followers in different situations. Leadership style is the result of philosophy, personality and experience of the leader. It is also influenced by the workers and working conditions in an organization. Leadership behavior can be translated into three styles. First one is authoritarian, participative and delegative. Now, we are going to explain in detail all these three leadership styles. First of all, authoritarian leadership. In this style of leadership, behavior of the leader is work oriented, which is designed to accomplishment of the work. This type of leader uses the one way of communication from manager to the subordinate. The main attention usually is on work progress and procedures and the hurdles that are preventing achievement of the goal. Some leaders implement as the primary style regardless the situation. This type of leadership may be stable for those subordinates who feel comfortable to depend completely on the leader. Second style is the participative leadership. This type of leader uses both work centered and people centered approaches to leading the subordinates. Under this style, leader motivate his subordinates to play an active role in assuming control of their work, and the authority is highly decentralized among the subordinates. It reduces the number of complaints, employees' grievances, strikes, lockout, etc. Participative leadership is very popular in many technologically advanced countries like USA, England and other Anglo countries. Third style is the delegative leadership. Delegative leadership is a somewhat hands off approach in which the leader places great responsibility on lower level managers and employees. Employees who have the skills to analyze situations and the confidence to implement decisions may thrive under this style of leadership. This is one of the styles of leadership that has value in specific situations and also has to be used wisely. A leader who uses this leadership style to shift blame or to avoid responsibility is misusing their leadership role. Delegative leadership, on the other hand, is a useful way for a leader to prioritize tasks and show their followers that they trust their abilities to lead certain initiatives. Leadership in international context. In different countries, leaders influence their subordinates in a different way. In leadership approaches, there are some similarities and differences are also found between the different countries. The related areas of leadership are decision making, risk taking, organizational design and strategic planning. The leadership style in different countries has been explained in the coming section of this module. Leadership styles in United States. In United States, most of the large firms have adopted democratic leadership approaches except the internal control. The decision making is carried out by the individual manager and the management is concerned basically with the individual's work life only, and there is no concern to the personal and social life of the employee. The control mechanism in US business firms is very explicit and people know exactly what to control and how to do it. Responsibilities are assigned to individuals with a set pattern of targets. The employment opportunities are usually for short term and layoff are common. In US firms, evaluation and promotion process are very fast. Those employees who are not quickly promoted often seek employment elsewhere. The career paths of the employees are much specialized in US and they tend to stay in one area in which they are specialized for their entire careers. US executives are taught and tend to use variety reduction, which is the limiting of uncertainty and the focusing of action on a limited number of alternatives. Leadership styles in Singapore. In Singapore, managers delegate decisions to their teams and expect the decisions to be overtly respected. This does not mean, however, that the rationale behind the decision is never debated. It is merely that any dissension is likely to be aired in a more private manner than in the full plenum of an open meeting. The manager expects to be respected and obeyed, and in return for loyalty and dedication to the cause will show a much more holistic interest in the well-being of his team. This includes an almost paternal regard for many aspects of a subordinate life. The manager's relationship with the team does not necessarily finish at the end of the working day. Outside family ties, promotion will be based on merit and performance criteria rather than connections. The performance criteria may, however, differ from those in the West countries, and top of the list may be the ability to create a harmonious team in which people feel at ease. Leadership style in Germany. In Germany, there is a clear chain of command in each department and information and instructions are passed down from the top. This does not mean, however, that German management is exclusively autocratic, while the vertical structure in each department is clear. Considerable value is placed on consensus. Equally, the German striving for perfection in systems and procedures carries with it the implication that the manager who applies and monitors these is showing faith in a framework that has proved successful for all. Accordingly, German managers motivate staff by showing solidarity with them in following procedures. They work long hours, obey the rules, and though expecting immediate obedience, insist on fair play. For their part, German employees welcome close instruction, they know where they stand and what they are expected to do. Leadership styles in Japan. Paternalistic approach to leadership is adopted by most of the Japanese firm. Japanese culture promote a high safety or security needs which is present among home country based employees as well as the employees of MNCs, which means the multinational corporations. Japanese managers have much greater beliefs on their subordinates' capacity in comparison of any other country. In Japan, the subordinates also participate in decision making and sharing information and objectives to a great extent. Japanese leaders place a strong emphasis on ambiguous goals. Subordinates are unaware of what their leader wants them to do. As a result, they spend much time in over preparing of their assignments. In this way, leader is able to maintain more control over his subordinates and they are also ready to deal with every kind of situation. This approach is also useful for the leader to maintain control and provide guidance even when the leader is not as knowledgeable as the followers. In Japanese leadership approach, responsibility shared collectively by the group and management is concerned with the whole life, business and social life of the workers. Leadership styles in China. In China, leadership is culturally influenced and as the country is moving towards the capitalism, the work value of the leaders are also changing. The new generation of the leaders may well use the leadership style similar to those in the western countries. The new generation leaders of China started to give importance to individual decision making and the workers clearly know what they have to do for the achievement of the organizational objectives. The importance is given to the subordinates for self sufficiency and personal accomplishment. After the revolution of 1949, two types of leader are emerged in China. The first were those who concentrate on technical skills and believe in theory X, and the second were skilled in the management of people and possessing political and ideological expertise and advocates theory Y. Leadership styles in Russia. Russian managers believe that work can be made meaningful, satisfying and should be allowed for the use of human capabilities. Work can be means of self expression, learn new things and be organized to allow for human fulfillment. Leaders adopt the organizational belief that survival of the group is very important in any organization and working with a group is better than working alone. One should take active part in all group affairs and a person can learn better on the job by striking out boldly his own than by following the advice of others. One must avoid dependence on other persons where possible. Russian managers believe that work can be made meaningful, satisfying and should be allowed for the human capabilities. They also believe that workers should be more active in making decisions about products, financing and capital investment. Workers should be represented on the board of directors of the company. The free enterprise system mainly benefits the rich and powerful. The rich do not make much of a contribution to the society. The work of the laboring classes is exploited by the rich for their own benefit. The most important work is done by the laboring classes in the Russia. Leadership approaches in developing countries. In different developing countries like India, Argentina and many others, the different leadership approaches are followed. The most effective leadership style used by the Indian managers is a more participative one. It is found that the job satisfaction of Indian employee increases as leadership style becomes more participative. Indian managers are found similar to the Anglo American countries in managerial attitudes towards capacity for leadership and initiative, participation and internal control. The difference is found in sharing information and objectives. In most of the developing countries, participative leadership style is more common. Gulf countries are also moving towards the participative leadership style instead of autocratic leadership styles. As countries become more economically advanced, participative leadership style may gain importance. In conclusion, we can say that leadership is the ability of an individual through which he guides the people and makes them capable of working willingly up to their fullest capacity. A successful leader gives the necessary encouragement to his subordinates in their work performance rather than pushing them in doing it. The conduct of a leader always must be ideal. In leadership, leaders set their examples. If a leader expects that his followers should be on time, then a leader must always be on time at his duty. In different countries, leaders influence their subordinates in a different way. In leadership approaches, there are some similarities and some differences are also found between the different countries. In United States, most of the large firms have adopted democratic leadership approaches except the internal control. Japanese managers have much greater beliefs on their subordinates' capacity in comparison of any other country. The new generation leaders of China started to give importance to individual decision making, and the workers clearly know what they have to do for the achievement of organizational objectives. Thank you.